Meet my never lucky Iron Man, forks only, no spoons allowed here. After maxing my main and nearly maxing my Iron Man, I wanted to try something new. RuneScape with getting unlucky on every grind in the game. If I get any drop before the drop rate, I can't use or keep it. Valuable items will periodically be given out to viewers and subs. My goal is to complete the Inferno, and I'm not going to stop there. Please subscribe to my only forks. I mean, forks only. What is up, gamers? FCast and Chill here. Last episode, we got the Slayer helmet and imbued it using all the points we'd saved up from the Nightmare Zone. And the next thing I want to do is start making my way towards 70 prayer. So I've mentioned several times at this point that I want to get 70 prayer before starting on my long barrows grind. And the reason for that is if you have 70 prayer, then you can complete the Mauritania hard diary. And one of the rewards for that diary is that you get 50% more runes from the barrows chest at the end. And since I'm going to be doing so many barrows runs, 50% will be a ton more free runes for me to get. And so I really am going to try to go for 70 prayer. It is going to be quite a grind. On a hardcore Iron Man, prayer is very difficult to train. So I don't know if you're aware, but the most efficient way of training prayer is to go to the Chaos Altar in the wilderness, and you can bury your bones there, and it's very quick. You can get through bones extremely quickly, and you're going to get a lot more XP for them, because when you use the bones on the Chaos Altar, there's a 50% chance they won't get consumed. And so you can use them several times, potentially. That said, you know, that's really not an option for me if I want to keep my hardcore status. There's a lot of PKers there. The chance of me dying is incredibly high if I go there. So the two ways that I'm going to, be able to get my prayer up to level 70 are: one, use the Ectofunctus with any bones I get. This is going to be pretty good XP per bone, not nearly as good as the Chaos Altar, but the issue with the Ectofunctus is it's very slow. It takes a long time to use up bones, and it's just adds hours and hours onto the grind. The other thing that I can do to get prayer XP is use ensouled heads, and that's what you'll see I'm doing here. So I have an inventory full of these ensouled heads that I've gotten from, just different tasks that I've done during Slayer. You can see it's very full of cave horror heads because, going for that Slayer helmet, I got several of those. And so you go over to the Dark Altar here, where you normally craft blood runes, and so this is in Zaya, and you talk to Tis here and you can change your spellbook to the Arceus spellbook. And then there's these reanimate spells that you can use to reanimate the ensouled heads that you have. And then when you kill the reanimated monster, which is a much weaker version of the actual monster, then you can get a lot of prayer XP. So you can see some of these give, 1,000 prayer XP or more. So really, this is very quick once you have the ensouled heads. The heads themselves are pretty rare drops, but that's okay. We'll just keep going and try to get through as many as we can. The next thing I want to talk about in this video, after getting some prayer XP, is how I'm gonna make some more money. So, the video title is a overlooked Moneymaker within RuneScape, and I want to get into that. So when you get level 62 Slayer, you unlock something that is actually really slept on. Like, I didn't even think about this until I got to that point on this account and realized, this is going to be really big for me. So the thing that I'm talking about, of course, is the worm. So worms are found in the Mount Carlum dungeon, Carlum, however the hell you say it. And they, typically you need 62 Slayer to kill them, and typically they're, not really trained on that often. I guess they're nice because they do drop a dragon harpoon if you're on task. I believe it's a 1 in 2,000 chance to get a dragon harpoon, and that's a very nice item for an Iron Man. But in general, these worms are just really, really good. So if you look here at the wiki, you can see that when you're on a Konar Slayer task, the average worm kill is worth almost 6,500 GP. And, I think that even with my current stats and gear on this account, if I'm on a task, I could probably kill about 100 of these guys an hour. So that's well over 500,000 GP an hour, which, at my level for doing something like training Slayer and collecting bones, that's just amazing. So worms drop worm bones 100% of the time, so I'd be able to keep them all. And these bones are almost as good as dragon bones for training prayer. And, you know, I'm probably going to end up using them for the majority of my grind to level 70. I could go kill blue dragons in the Taverley dungeon, but that's actually pretty slow and really expensive using Ivan's Blast. You don't want to melee blue dragons with my current gear and stats. And, you know, I think these worms are going to be the key to me getting to 70 prayer as well as making a lot of money. So, you know, obviously the 6,500 number that they have on the wiki for the average kill, that includes selling things to the Grand Exchange, which I'm obviously not allowed to do. But it is still very good money for Ironmen as well. So if you look at this weapons and armor table, there's a lot of really good alchables on here. So you can see rune med helms are 1 in 38 drop, and that's over 10k right there. And you can just alch it for, again, about 11k. Then there's also the dragon dagger, rune battle axe, and earth battle staff that are all worth, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, or not dollars, GP, you know what I mean. But these things are worth a lot. And 1 in 76, when there's 3 of them, that's a 3 in 76 drop. So like 1 in 25. So like really, as I'm going through and just slaughtering these worms for my Slayer tasks, I'm going to get a lot of GP just from alching these items. And it's going to provide a huge boost to my account. Not to mention, they drop a lot of runes too. Like look at all these common runes. Blood runes are always great to bank up. I'm going to need a lot of blood runes for the Inferno. We'll talk about that later. But this is all really good stuff. And so I'm going to try to get to 62 Slayer as fast as I can, and then, you know, kill these guys as much as I can on task. I'd prefer not to do too many of them off task, but we'll see how lucky I get with my worm tasks, and we'll go from there. But anyway, let's go ahead and go and wrap up, you know, getting some Slayer levels. If you remember, we were 58 from before when we were going to do the Cave Horror grind because they require level 58 Slayer. So let's get a couple things cleared up and then hopefully go kill some worms before too long. And here I had a hard clue from a prior Slayer task that I just wrapped up, so let's open it and see what we get here. And that's hard clue number 4, and nothing good. So lobsters and a rune dagger. Probably just gonna drop those. And then this rune full helm I will actually keep and give away to you guys. You can see it's worth over 20k, so I say that's worth keeping, but the others not so much. So anyway, that's it for that clue. Let's go back to Slayer. And here I am finishing up this fire giant task that I had before. I had this task when I got level 58 Slayer, so I'm just kind of wrapping it up. And you can see I have a few ensouled heads in my inventory. I've done enough fire giant tasks too to where I can keep the keys as well. And there we go, that guy's dead. And now you can see I have 100 tasks complete. That's a 450 point bonus, which is pretty massive. Pretty big milestone, honestly, 100 tasks. I'm surprised I'm there already, actually. But, you know, again, I am doing every 9 tasks, like at Turiel, and then the 10th one at Konar, just to get those point boosts and get my task streak up. And I'll probably keep that going for a while. But yeah, let's just keep knocking out tasks and getting some Slayer levels. Speaking of levels, when I was doing all those ensouled heads a little while ago, I got 81 magic here, as well as 65 prayer, which is pretty nice. And then I also got a 76 farming here from doing some herb runs. And then another thing, I got 69 fishing because I was fishing for some carambombs to get more food. And then now back to Slayer, and you can see I actually got 59 at that last Slayer task as well. So 59 Slayer currently. And here's 60 Slayer from a Dagannoth task that I got. I also got 95 strength from this Dagannoth task, which is super nice. I think I'm done doing strength at Nightmare Zone for a while. I'm going to switch over to defense for a bit, because I think my strength will naturally get to 99 eventually, just through training Slayer and other things. And you can see I got a few defense levels at Nightmare Zone. Here's 81, 82, and 83. And I'm running over to the Slayer Tower here in Mauritania, and this guy just comes up to me and says spoon's best in slot. That's really rude, you know, like I am someone who prides himself on not getting spooned, and I can't believe he'd bring that up. That's awful. Alright, and here we are with 130 tasks completed after another fire giant tasks. I got a couple loop half of keys from those guys too, which I can keep, as well as a lot more ensouled heads. So again, this prayer grind is going pretty well. And then you can see here I got 61 Slayer while doing some Turiel tasks, and 62 Slayer while doing a Brine Rat task from Konar. So that's the Slayer level I needed for worms. So now Konar can give me worms tasks, so hopefully I'll get one pretty soon. You can see here I actually also just cleared out my 150th task, giving me a ton of points. I have 1,300 points, so I'm gonna unlock some stuff. I went ahead and extended Dust Devils because that's always a great task to have. You know, I've already bought my Slayer helmet. I could extend some other tasks here. I could unlock Broad Bolt Fletching. There's just so much I could do with these Slayer points, but we'll think about it and come back to it a bit later, maybe. Yeah, for now I'm just happy that I have a decent bank. But yeah, I think I will go ahead and actually get the broader Fletching here, because I am going to use that to train my Fletching. But for now, I think that's all I'll get, and we'll sit on the other 1,000 Slayer points for later. And would you look at that, I just went to Konar right after doing that and hitting the 150 tasks, and first thing I get is a worms task. So that's extremely lucky. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I guess, go ahead and kill some worms. That's awesome. And you can see these guys here, so now I'm over here killing some worms. They can attack with both magic and melee. So since I'm wearing melee gear and in melee range, I'm going to pray Protect from Mage, because honestly just my defense and armor is going to protect me from their melee attacks most of the time. And so really all I'm going to do is kind of hang out and melee them while flicking, one tick flicking of course, my Protect from Mage as well as Chivalry. So you can see I hit a 38 there. I think my max hit's somewhere in the low mid 40s because of that Slayer helmet. So these guys actually just melt when I'm on a Slayer task. You can see how fast they're dying. And like I said before, you know, on average, these guys, each kill is worth 6,500 when I'm on a Konar task for a normal account. So this is a really good way to make money that is very overlooked. But you know, anyway, I'm just gonna hang out here, keep killing these guys and get through the task, and then, you know, maybe use some of the bones on the Ectofuntus after and get another prayer level potentially. Look, I found another friend over here killing worms, and you can see his name is Sawcon D's. I wonder if he just really likes saws and construction. I think that's what his name means. I can't see what else it would be. I tried to ask him, you know, if he just, construction was his favorite skill, because, you know, saws and construction, but he didn't answer me. It's kind of rude, honestly, but anyway, yeah, Sawcon D's. If you're watching this, you know, I like the name. Good stuff. Then after finishing that worms task, I went to the Ectofuntus, and you can see I got 66 prayer here from using all those bones. It's a very slow grind, but I'm getting there. And then next Slayer task, I got 63 from doing mountain trolls here too. I've actually stopped just doing the Turiel skipping and only Konar every 10 tasks. I'm solely just doing Konar Slayer now because I don't want to mess with it, but you know, whatever. Couple Nightmare Zone levels too. I got 90 hit points as well as 86 defense, which is pretty huge, getting up there. And then I actually got another worms task as well, and you can see I got 64 Slayer here from that task. So I'm really getting up there on Slayer levels too, which is really exciting because, you know, I think the Monkey Madness 2 quest, which I definitely want to do, it only requires 69 Slayer, and so I'm getting every little bit closer to that. Here's another Slayer level from Black Demon's task, got 65. And then I took all the ensouled heads that I had, as well as all the worm bones from the 3 or so worm tasks I've already done, and I got 67 prayer and 68 prayer at the Ectofuntus. So yeah, really nice. Then another Slayer level here from another Fire Giant task that I got, 66. And then here I was doing some more worms, and I actually got a Superior worm. So I think this is my first Superior worm. So definitely, you know, checking that as number 1 on my Superior count for worms. Again, like I said in the last video, I'm going to keep track of all these separately so that I can, you know, decide how, like, when I'm going to be able to keep the heart. I'm I am going to make sure I get to the drop rate on a single superior monster before keeping any heart. So that's going to be a long time. You can see I got a dragon dagger there, but the superior is a different monster than the normal worm. So even though I'm at the dragon dagger drop rate for the normal worms, I can't keep that one. But that's all right. Let's just keep going. Another Black Demons task here in the Chasm of Fire. Just gonna go down here and kill these. Toward the end of this task here, I got a rune two-handed sword, which is actually incredibly rare from these guys. It's about 1 in 5,461. So I am not going to be able to keep that, but again, you know, go into the pile for you guys, so that's nice. But yeah, just killing more Black Demons, getting tasks done, still banking in soul heads and ashes. I'm getting pretty close to 70 prayer, so I'm really excited, and Barrows is going to be soon. I got a cow fight task from Konar here, and I'm actually going to use that to block cow fights, because I think going forward, I'm not really interested in doing cow fight tasks. If you're Turiel skipping, then it makes it a lot easier to not do them and just have them blocked. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I got more worms tasks. So here's another 152 worms. And I think this one is going to be able to put me pretty damn close to 70 prayer from all the bones, as long as I also do some quests that reward prayer XP that we can get into. But yeah, I'm really excited to go back to worms. I've actually made, from the 4 or 5 worms tasks that I have, I've made over 1 million in raw GP. So I have over 1 million in my bank just from doing worms and alching things, which is a little crazy. And, you know, I've gotten a ton of prayer XP from all the bones. Like I said, I'm coming up on 70. This has been a really long grind, but yeah, it's going well. I'm pretty excited to almost be there. And then here's another superior worm. So yeah, glad to get that out of the way, get another one. Oh, he just hit me for a 27. That's kind of scary. These guys, again, can only hit melee and magic, but they can hit a lot harder than the normal worms. So I have to be kind of careful here to make sure I don't die. But, you know, I'm still 1 tick flicking against the magic attacks. Oh, another 23 from melee. I think if he hits me again, I'm going to have to figure out a way to kill him. Okay, 14. Yeah, I'm down to 28 health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up and just hit him and then run out of range after hitting him. I think, and that will probably help me. Yeah, there's an 18, so yeah, I need to do that. So I'm going to hit him and then back up, and then hit him after he attacks and then back up. And then that way he won't be able to melee me. And if I keep Protect from Magic up, then I should be good. I don't want to teleport away because then he'll despawn. So yeah, I definitely want this Slayer XP because killing superior monsters gives you a massive boost in Slayer XP, and I just don't want to miss out on that. He's almost dead, so this is working out pretty well. Let's just stand here and finish him off. Maybe. Not quite. One more good hit, he should be done for. There we go. And you can see 3,500 Slayer XP. That was why I wanted to do that. But that's okay. I guess I'll just go back and get some more food. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going on this worms task, wrap it up, and then like I said, I'll be close to 70 prayer. And here is 67 Slayer from that worms task that I was working on. So, like I said before, now I'm only 2 levels away from being able to do Monkey Madness. Probably gonna get my ranged up a bit more before I actually do it, but I'm really close to being able to do it. I'm actually surprisingly close to having all the skill requirements to go for the quest point cape, which I do want to do before too long. Maybe that'll be like my next long-term goal after I do some barrows. But yeah, we'll talk about goals too. I know it's been a while since I've done a checklist, but I'll definitely have one coming up for you soon. So 67 Slayer, and then you can see I've completed the worms task here. That's 174 tasks completed. And yeah, I think I'm gonna, you know, go make these bones into prayer XP and see how close that gets me to 70, and then we'll be starting barrows pretty soon. There's a few other small things I need to do, but yeah, that's gonna be next steps. So I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'm pretty close to 1,000 subscribers now, actually, so I really appreciate all the support from you guys. If you would like to, see more of my content, please like the video and subscribe. I'd really like to hit that 1,000 sometime in the next month or so. But yeah, I'll be back soon. And like I said, Barrow's streaming and gonna post some videos with Barrow's content before too long at all. So yeah, thanks for watching and take care.